Thank you for joining us today for our session on how Dr. McCann was able to increase her practice revenue by 20%. My name is Lizzie Fiegel, and I'll be our moderator today. Just a few housekeeping items to check off before we get started. Our session should be about 20 minutes long, with a couple minutes on the end for questions and answers. Remember that your phones will be on mute during the webinar, so should you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the question box in your control panel, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. Okay, so we have 3 discussion topics today. We'll start by discussing changes in the way that clients are managing their money today versus even just a few years ago. And then we'll hear directly from Dr. McCann on how her medical spa was able to react to those changes to ensure they were providing the best level of service as well as continue to grow their business. And lastly, we will discuss the specific solution that Dr. McCann chose to bring into her practice to make sure to keep up with these changes. We have the pleasure of hearing from 2 lovely ladies today. We'll start with Jennifer Baromis, who is CareCap's top consultant in the area of payments and case acceptance in the cosmetic and medical aesthetic industry. Then we'll hear from Dr. Bessie McCann, who is a board-certified physician and the owner of Derma Medical Spa. So without further ado, I will pass things over to Jennifer, and we can get started.
Well, thank you so much, Lizzie, and thank you all for joining us today and really just taking the time out of your busy schedules. It seems like more than ever, our schedules are getting busier and busier. Not only are we busy, but we seem to be getting stuck doing the same thing over and over again. And in the midst of all of our busyness and the monotony, we are actually overlooking the changes that are happening all around us. And by not recognizing and taking the time to understand these changes and why they're even happening, we could be missing out on valuable opportunities within inside our businesses. Let's just take a moment and look at some of these changes. These stats continue to validate why I love consulting with businesses on payment options and case acceptance. To better understand the financial landscape of many Americans created a deep passion for me to figure out how to better help people get the services they wanted and for the businesses who provided them. The first stat was actually conducted by the Federal Reserve, and that stat showed that 47% of Americans didn't even have enough money to cover a $400 expense. This number could explain the number of times costs could become a barrier for your clients to pay for your services. And 63% of the millennials don't even have a credit card, and their average FICO score is only a 628. As the millennials age, you are going to see more and more of them visiting your practice. The combination of them not having enough credit may limit their ability to get the services that they would like. And then in addition to having a FICO score of 628 may rule out traditional third-party financing. So your ability to grow and really even just to sustain your business in the future may depend on today's millennials. So you've got to look at other options to be able to serve them. Let's just think about it. Have you seen any clients under the age of 30 in the last year? Or let's even say the last month or even week? Here are a few headlines on why people are managing their money differently. And it isn't that people don't have money or can't make a payment. It's just they do it differently. The traditional means that many of us used to live by are no longer a trusted source. People just don't trust banks anymore. And the millennials are not even using credit. So people just altogether pay differently now. They're really more subscription-based and less cash-based. This is really going to age me, but Remember the day when you had to buy an entire record album just to listen to your favorite song? Can you guys actually imagine doing that today? Wow, have times changed. And they've changed in how we pay for goods and services as well. These headlines actually further emphasize the importance of the relationship between the service providers and their clients. And it's also the reason why many service providers are moving more towards not only offering traditional financing, but also offering in-house payment options. So past success is absolutely no guarantee for future success. It is vital to your future success to be open to the new ideas and changes that are happening all around you. Because if you don't, your competitors and clients will. Here's a great quote that really sums up a lot of those thoughts. The price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. So from here, I'd like to introduce Dr. Bessie McCann. She's going to share her story about how she and Derma Medical Spa are adapting to this change, seeing happier clients because of it, and is making a lot more money by doing it. Welcome, Dr. McCann. Hello, Dr. McCann. Hello, Dr. McCann.
Hi there, this is Bessie. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you. I was wondering if you could use this time just to introduce yourself and talk a little bit more about Derma Medical Spa.
Sure. So I am a board-certified physician, and 2 years ago I started Derma. We are a medical spa, and initially we started out as just a mobile service. So we do Botox, we do fillers. Now we offer a larger variety of services, but when we first started, we were just mobile. So we would go to people's homes, we'd go to their offices, we'd have, Botox parties and things like that. So we were always on the move. And that rapidly evolved into a stationary location. We still do mobile events at other salons and spas in the area, but predominantly we are located in an office and we see tons of clients through that office. We have grown hugely in that 2 years. So over the last year, we've grown 460%. And I now have several other people that work for me to help me take care of all these clients. And we're actually just about to expand to a much larger location in October.
That's absolutely fantastic, and congratulations on all your growth. Quick question for you. Can you describe the problems that you were hoping to solve when you started looking into additional payment options for your clients?
Sure. Well, our clients come in two different forms when looking at things financially. There are the clients we have that definitely have a large chunk of change to spend on a service all at one time. And then there's really the rest of us who maybe don't have several $1,000s to spend on a procedure in one day. However, a lot of what we do lasts for quite a while. So it makes sense to be able to pay off those services over a period of time. We had many people asking us if there was any way that they could just make payments. Then they felt like they could afford to do the procedure. And until CareCap, we really didn't have any good options for doing that. And we didn't have any good options that still allowed us to be mobile.
So then can you share with us why you selected CareCap out of everything else that's available on the market?
So CareCap immediately was a good fit for our business. Basically, as soon as I heard about it and its construction, it made perfect sense for our clients. And I think for most people, it's really It's very simple to use. It's simple to set up. I really like that people can choose their payment amount. So, you know, it takes minutes for me to set up a new client with CareCap, and then they get to choose exactly what fits into their budget. And that gives them control, and that makes them feel like this is something that's accessible. And that's really important in the sales process, but just in also my relationship with the client.
Absolutely. So then can you share with us how CareCap has actually impacted your business?
So about half of what I do is consultations. The other half is actually procedures. But in those consultations, that's when people come to me with something they don't like and they want me to work with them to try and change it. And it's then up to me to lay out several options for them as to how best to achieve that goal. And many times it's often the expensive treatment that will have the most impact for them and that excites them the most. And then comes the uncomfortable part, you know, telling them how much that costs. And up until we took on CareCap, that really was a very uncomfortable moment, because for most people, they would just immediately say that they couldn't afford that because they didn't have that big lump sum of money to spend. So now what I get to do with CareCap is immediately say, we have a payment plan. Usually their next statement is that they don't want to apply for credit, which I really understand. I think that people are really trying to spend more responsibly now. So I can say, this is not a credit card. There's no credit check involved. This is just your money that you already have, and CareCap organizes payments that fit into your budget, and you get to pick what that payment is going to be. And it immediately makes people feel more comfortable, and all of a sudden their horizon is broadened and they feel like they can do any of the services that I'm offering. They can combine services. It's sort of like the sky's the limit.
Very, very nice. So if you could share 2 pieces of advice to our webcast attendees, what would they be?
So, gosh, it's hard. I think, you know, one of the biggest points for me personally is that when new technology happens, it's always a little intimidating. I'm not really a computer geek, and the idea of taking on a new piece of technology or a new system can be or feel very unapproachable. And I would urge people to be open to new technology, because I feel, especially having used this, that the sign of great technology is that it actually makes things feel easier. It doesn't make things feel more complicated. And that is how I feel about CareCap. Another bit would be, and this is just something I've done since the very beginning of our business and really is the cornerstone of the nature of our business, is I would urge you to put yourself in the shoes of your clients, into all of them. They come from many walks of life. They have lots of different financial situations. And to put yourself in their place means that you understand the difficulty of making a payment or paying a lump sum, but still really being motivated to want to do services or whatever it is that your business provides. So being able to give them more control over how they spend their finances and allow them to feel that they're doing it responsibly is very important. It really creates a lot of trust between us. And with CareCap, they can create their own account where they can go online, pay off their bill earlier, or increase their payments. It just keeps them involved in a very responsible way. And the feedback that I get from my clients is wonderful from this. They want to come back and use it over and over again.
Wow, that is exciting. Thank you so, so much. And really, congratulations to you and your team for all of your success.
Thank you.
Now yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So now let's go ahead and spend some time talking a little bit more about the solution that Dr. McCann selected. Our mission here at CareCap is pretty simple. It is to help people get the services they want while redirecting that focus on the client-practice relationship by providing an easy, affordable way for practices to offer in-house payment solutions. CareCap is an easy way to manage and automate your in-house payment plans. Our web-based application is very easy to use. It is HIPAA compliant, and we are also compliant in all state and federal lending laws. You and your clients can rest assured that all payments, personal information are private, compliant, and secure. Now let's go ahead and talk about how CareCap works. When a client comes in for a consult and cash is a barrier to commit to treatment, offer your client a payment plan. If cash or credit is not their optimal form of payment, offer them a payment plan rather than have them walk out the door and decline services altogether. Next, terms are decided based on the parameters that best fit the practice and your client's budget. Terms include how much of a down payment your client is to put down. Typically, most practices require enough to cover the hard costs plus some profit. Terms also include how long your client has to pay the remaining balance. This could be anywhere from 3 months to 24 months. It is all up to you. Setting up the client's payment plan in your CareCap portal is fast and it is done in as little as 4 simple steps. And then this is where you'll also collect your client's down payment. There is no approval process to wait for, so clients can schedule their appointments for treatment or even have treatment that same day. Then based on the terms decided, CareCap will automatically pull the client's monthly payment out of their account, and this account could come from a checking account, debit Visa, credit card, or even an HSA account. And then CareCap will deposit that into your operational account. You don't have to call, bill, or wait for your clients to make a payment. CareCap automates and manages the entire process for you, so you can focus on really what's the most important, which is your clients. And with CareCap, our solution is a true win-win for all parties involved. Your clients receive the service they want and need at an affordable monthly payment for them. You close more business and make more money. And you keep the relationship in-house rather than selling it to a third party. Will promote stronger, loyal relationships and increase your referrals. CareCap is a great tool to use for many purposes. You can use CareCap to upsell additional treatments, areas, and even packages without the need to have to discount your services. Let's use your Botox or maybe even your filler clients as an example. Are they really getting the full correction that they're looking for? Maybe yes, but then maybe no. But by offering them an option like CareCap, the cost to get full correction might not be a barrier any longer. Now, not only are they happy, but they're also confident. CareCap is also a great alternative to use when your clients are declined by a third-party financing company. And just because a third-party financing company declines your client does not mean that they do not have the financial means to make the monthly payment. As many of you know, third-party guidelines have really become very stringent since 2007, and not everybody fits into their lending guideline box. How do you feel when you have to tell your client that they've been declined by a third-party financing company? Probably not very good. I mean, imagine how your clients feel. They're probably pretty embarrassed, and chances are they don't return. We even have some offices that offer third-party financing and CareCap together to cover some of those higher-end procedures. So as you can see, there are a lot of different ways you can use CareCap to close more business. CareCap is by far the most affordable for both practice and clients. There are no startup costs to have CareCap available in your practice and no monthly subscription fees. Costs are associated when you use the system. CareCap charges a 3% merchant fee used to pay the banks and credit card fees to collect payments. Your client only pays a 1% monthly management fee on their outstanding balance. They are welcome to pay off their balance at any time through their own CareCap portal without any prepayment penalty. So as you can see, CareCap is a very affordable solution with significant upside. Now we'd like to open the floor for some question and answers. If you could please type in your questions in the questions box, Dr. McCann and I would answer them as soon as they come in.
Thank you, Jennifer and Dr. McCann. We've got a few questions here. Looks like the first one is for Dr. McCann. Dr. McCann, have you ever or do you offer Care Credit? And if so, how does it compare to CareCap?
Well, can you hear me okay?
We can, thank you.
Okay. So, yes, actually, we started using Care Credit before we found out about CareCap. A lot of people know about it, and the process of getting set up with that was fairly painful in comparison, and we found that it's more complicated to use, especially since we don't do anything on paper. We're mobile, and so it's all iPads, our laptops, and even our phones, and we needed something that was much more mobile than what Care Credit could do. We also find that people don't prefer to start a new line of credit. That's not necessarily what they see as the most responsible way to handle their money. And being able to offer something that isn't credit, that doesn't require a credit check, is very appealing to people. So now we actually don't even say that we offer it. We only provide Care Credit in cases where people ask specifically for that type of payment.
Thank you. Actually, the next one is for you as well. Someone else was wondering, how do you decide when to offer a client a payment plan?
I bring it up with every single payment. I mean, I think with the exception of cases where I'm only doing a couple of units of Botox to touch up something, anything over $100, essentially, I will offer a payment plan because I'm always surprised at who says, you know, that sounds like a good idea. And it really hardly costs either of us anything to do that. It's easy to set up. It doesn't take more time from our appointment. And again, I'm just really always surprised at who takes me up on that offer. So I include it as part of any consultation, however small or large.
Okay, so you kind of covered this one in your last answer, but are there any specific services that that you always include, or I guess that you would always offer a payment plan for? And if so, what are those services?
Well, I usually start talking about it a little sooner with our more expensive services, things like Sculptra and dermal fillers, where I'm recommending that they have several syringes. Like you said earlier, you know, for the best correction, some people really do need a lot of filler. And I try to prepare them for the idea that this is going to be expensive, but we have a way that makes it affordable. And what I usually do is I choose the time that they have to pay it off by what I'm doing. So, for example, if I'm using a filler that lasts 1 year, then on CareCap, I choose the 1 year option where they have up to a year to pay it off. If they need more than that, it's no problem because that's easy to set up too. But I explain to them that, you know, you could use this whole year to pay it off, and then by the time you need more filler, we just start another CareCap invoice. And that makes so much sense to them, and it eases the stress of whatever the amount is I'm about to say. So Things like Ultherapy, Sculptra, dermal fillers, large packages where they want to get skincare plus Botox plus, it means it doesn't matter. You can enter any amount into CareCap.
That's great. And this next question, I'm sure either of you could answer, but let's direct it towards Jennifer. How long does it take to learn how to use CareCap? And is there anything to be aware of before getting started?
I'll go ahead and take this one. You know, getting started with CareCap is super easy. We have a seamless sign-up and enablement process. To sign up for CareCap, all you have to do is go to our website at www.carecap.com, click the Get It Now button, fill out the very short sign-up page, and click Submit. And then once you click Submit, we will have one of our customer success managers call you within 24 hours to set up a time to train you on your CareCap system. And our customer success managers, their core mission is to provide you and your clients the white glove service and ongoing customer support.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. Let's see. Here's another one here. One of our attendees is wondering, what if a patient is not happy with the results or feels the product didn't last as long as predicted and they feel they should not have to pay the balance? How do you deal with a scenario like that? Maybe Jennifer could take this one. Or Dr. McCann. I'll let you ladies fight over it.
Yeah, that one would probably be more for Dr. McCann. Dr. McCann, that would probably be more for you.
Sure. So dealing with patient expectations is you know, a difficult aspect of this particular line of work, as all of you guys know. You know, a lot of dealing with that is all the lead up to the procedure itself, really making sure that you set the expectations appropriately. If folks say that they don't want to pay the balance, you know, there's not always a lot that can be done about that, except really to have an honest conversation with them. Typically, meeting with them in person, looking at before and after photos is really helpful for that, because I feel like most people think that something may have been a little off with their service and then they look at their before and after photos and they realize, oh no, you know, that whatever was there before you ever did anything, or oh gosh, oh I see now. So having a good conversation is important. It's also part of building the trust with your clients. I do talk to my clients about the fact that this is a contract that we're making between us, that I'm going to do this service, I'm going to provide follow-up, I'm here for them if they have any questions, and in exchange they're paying this amount. So I haven't yet had a situation where a client that used CareCap decided not to pay. I've definitely had some clients that were late on their payments, and the response from CareCap has been really incredible. They always notify me that that's happening, and then they notify me after they've tried again, because they try more than once to obtain that payment, and you know, then they offer assistance, you know, moral support assistance in trying to communicate with that client. So it just hasn't been an issue yet.
Okay, great. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Now we have a little bit of a clarification on a previous question. It looks like my moderator skills are lacking here. It was directed actually towards Dr. McCann, but the question about how long does it take to learn how to use CareCap, could you talk a little bit about that, Dr. McCann, and what your experience was there?
Yeah, I really actually did want to say something about that, because that was one of the areas that I felt like the comparison between CareCredit and CareCap was really quite a large difference. CareCredit, I still feel like I hope I'm going to do this right each time, and setting it up, like I said, was really a pain. And CareCap, I think I was revving up for it to be like that when we started. And it took, I mean, they taught our office manager, and our office manager taught me, and it was, you know, a quick half hour on the computer of just signing it up, her showing me how to do it, and then me running through a couple of examples just to be comfortable with it. Then I showed one of my nurses how to do it, and he took to it within 5 minutes. And his words were, I remember, "Oh, this is easy. I can do this. I don't need you, you know, watching me." So it is very easy. And each time we want to add a new invoice to it, so if a client decides for the moment they want to use CareCap, it's literally 2 minutes to do that.
That's great. Thank you so much. So we want to be respectful of everyone's time here. It looks like we've met our allotted time. We'll answer any more questions offline and be sure to get everyone the answers. Dr. McCann, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing all the valuable information. And to you as well, Jennifer, thank you so much. And to all of our attendees, thank you all for joining us. And we are just going to wrap things up here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.